Hi everyone, my name is Mark Dookeran. I'm the CEO of Leo Mark Artists Inc. and today I will be sharing with you two of my new creations. I've been in the business for about 30 years. I had the greatest chance to work with the most inspiring hairstylists of my generation. I take my inspiration usually on Facebook, Instagram, or Pinterest. I like to work with nature and get my inspiration from what surrounds me. And I'll be using the products Davines today to showcase my work. So today I'm going to introduce you to my A-line haircut. We are doing a version of the Mohawk of the 1980s, the exception that instead of having the half moon shape like we used to, I decided to go with a different option with my A-line. So my first separation is the A-line with my central point of my head. Then I took my first separation with my highest point of my head, and I really did a very extreme A-line shape. I did the same with the back, and you'll see when it's all dry, you'll see the A shape over here, as well as the A shape in the back. Then the horizontal sectioning to make it as short as possible. I really wanted to keep a very short fringe, and I kept those 80s sideburns. Now that I finished with my blow drying, I did use a mousse at the beginning just to give an overall volume and texturize it to it. And then I used the salt spray at the roots. The salt spray is absolutely fantastic if you want to have some more grit to your hair. Now I'm going to use the Magic Dust as the hair assistant by Davines, and it's absolutely fantastic tool for kind of very thin hair, or just to give a little bit more texture to your hair, and it's absolutely magic. You just apply it. You can see there's a little dust to it, but it gives you more texture if you wanted to, just to be, and I like to use it a little bit everywhere where I want to have some texture to it, to my hair. Now I'm going to use the wax. Don't be shy to use it and put it right into the hair, but I like to use it at my ends to control a little bit and give it more finish. I take this inspiration, like I said at the beginning, from the 80s, but an upgraded A version of it. I use my A-shaped line, and I use the wax to make it more fun to work with, more shine to it. This is an inspiration from nature. It's a fish called Siamese fighting fish. There's all sorts of color that you can use in nature. I encourage you to use and try all sorts of different techniques. So for my base color, I use a 666 by Mass with Vibrocon. To create my effect, I use a new color by Davines, red, yellow, and orange mixed with the developer to create a very beautiful shine and color scheme. So for the finishing touch, I'm using the Hair Assistant hairspray. It's absolutely fantastic when you do a photo shoot video or on stage or for your client, just as the session work. And I really like that you can create all your shape and finishing with the Hair Assistant. For my second model, I use the flamboyage technique. Fantastic technique to work with paper, unbelievable. But this is my magic tool because I try to create something new. So to create something new with new look, you need a new tools or a new texture. So I was thinking, and then I came up and I opened my kitchen drawer and I used this. And this is fantastic. As you will see on my model, you don't see any lines. For my collection for the spring, it's very loose and very soft highlights, very light balayage. It's absolutely fantastic to work with. And simply, you have to make sure that you apply it very deep and then you go this way so you can make it seamless. And that's the trick. So this is my model Lexi. I did two things on her. So basically in salon, I did the coloration with mask decoloration using my brush, my silicone brush to do the technique with the flamboyage technique. Those papers are absolutely fantastic to work with. Now I'm going to proceed to my haircut. I want to do a layered haircut, very beachy looking. And I'm going to use my 8 technique separation to create that look. So now I finished all my separation, my sectioning of my haircut with all in the A-shaped kind of line. I figured out that I needed my highest point of my head here. And if you look down, I make sure it's very important when you cut the hair that you find the natural separation of the hair, of the client's hair. So I did a small separation, small hay, and then a bigger one, and then the rest I divided. And then I figured that this is going to be my first guide, and from there my haircut will start. The reason why I did my sectioning is I want to create a very jagged layered in the back, like very short to long, short to long, short to long. So there's very messy, shaggy. Now I'm going to do my last 2 parts. So I'm going to use this last section to create and frame her beautiful face. So now that we're done the blow drying, just to do a recap, so we did all A separation. There's a disconnect with each separation because I wanted to create a more of a modern kind of a shag, very layered and very disconnected. And my toner overall was a 9.03 mixed with 000 with 5 volume, just to create a little very natural tone on my model. I use this technique of blow drying with the brush and put it back into sort of a pin curl just to give a little wink to the era of the 50s and 40s. And now I'm gonna just undo everything and let it speak. So after finishing my blow dry, I use my round brush to create a very loose wave to it. I decided to put it in pin curls just to keep the shape a little bit. And this is what you should see, very, very large, just a very loose movement into it. And now I'm gonna do the front. So now I'm using my brush, my round brush, just to give a little bit of loose curl to it. And I'm gonna use the hair assistant to finish and just to give it a little bit more texture to the hair. So just to give it a little bit more, I use the hair polish just to give it more texture to it. Don't be shy to work your hair because you don't want to be too curly. You just want to be a little bit more loose to it. Bring the shine. So your hair assistant is awesome to work with. So you see, it's the tone of the highlights, it's very loosely based. I put a little bit more up highlights in the front, but I really want to create something very sexy to my model and more sensual, more classic. And the first look was more avant-garde, but this is my beautiful model Lexi, and thank you very much. So thank you everyone, it was a pleasure working with you. Thank you for my assistant Gina, and see you soon.